Mariners are cleaning house. Should the Giants trade Madison Bumgarner? I'm Dawson Wright, joined by Noah Wright, and this is the November 30th edition of Barreled Up.
I said, ooh, yeah, I don't know. Listen, I said I was born ready. I said I was born ready. Young team, living good, yeah, I don't know. I've been ready, born ready, yeah. I said I was born ready. Young team, living good, yeah, I don't know. I stay steady, born ready. I said I was born ready. I said I was born.
So today there were a lot of moves, as there were a few notable non-tender players, and one of them being Billy Hamilton. So Noah, were you surprised that Billy Hamilton was let go?
I was a little bit, but not too surprised. He hasn't been what the Reds were expecting since he's came to the majors. I mean, he's really good defensively. He's got a lot of speed on the bases, but you know, they were expecting a lot more average, a lot more on base percentage, and he can't really use his legs if he doesn't get on base. And he has I think every season except for 2016, he's had an on base percentage under 300.
Yeah, and I'm sure now that Billy Hamilton he'll be able to get a job, that's certain.
Yeah.
But we just don't know what his role could be. Is it possible, do you think, that we see him go into a really good team like, I don't know, the Red Sox, Yankees, Astros, and just being there to be a pinch runner?
Yeah, he'll probably if he goes to a really good team, he'll be a fourth, fifth outfield kind of guy, be used for defensive replacement, pinch runner when they need a fast guy on base.
Yeah. I think maybe the Cubs possibly could be a fit for postseason purposes.
Like when they used Terrence Gore.
Yeah, if they don't take Gore back and they think they could keep Hamilton on the roster, it really probably depends on what Hamilton wants. If he wants to either chase a ring or go play, I don't know, on the Orioles or something. The Orioles have an opening in center field now.
The Orioles have an opening
Adam Jones.
everywhere, but
that might be a little true. But yeah, and we were also kind of sad to hear that Matt Davidson was also non-tendered, which it came as a shock to me. Were you surprised by Davidson at all?
A little bit, but you know, he wasn't super great. But I mean, I liked him because of he started his career with the Diamondbacks, and he made his debut in 2013, but didn't start getting playing time until last year because of injuries. He just kept getting injured, and he couldn't seem to ever just stay healthy for a long period of time. So I was rooting for him last year. I was hoping he did good this year. He did okay, but you know, he did I don't think he did enough to stay on the team. He hit a lot of home runs, but he didn't get on. He only got on base, I think 316 on base percentage. And there's so many players you can find that can hit for 20, 25 home runs and get on base on an average amount of times.
Yeah. So, I don't really know what the White Sox direction with this is. I'm sure they're going to be looking for someone in free agency. We know they've been showing interest in Manny Machado, even though they probably won't be able to land him.
No,
but I like Matt Davidson a lot. Good dude. It just sucks with the injuries that he suffered, but you know, and he's a two-way player, kind of.
I think he stated that he wanted to try some two-way player stuff because he pitched 3 innings this year, and they said that he was the first player. But this was before Ohtani started playing a lot when Ohtani was still injured. They say he was the first player to have 300 plate appearances and pitch at least 3 innings in the majors since Babe Ruth.
And he did pretty solid too. I was watching an interview with him on Hot Stove. I remember he was saying how oh, you know, this is something I'd like to do. He said he doesn't know if he'd want to do it, you know, full time, but you know, in those situations when they're up a lot or down a lot and the bullpen's tired, then he said he would be more than happy to come in and pitch.
Yeah, he needs to go to the Orioles since the Orioles have room to experiment with stuff.
Yeah, we need a new Rays team because well, the Rays will always be the Rays, but I mean they're really good now.
They're gonna be good.
Yeah, they're gonna be good next season. So we need another team that we can experiment and have a little fun.
It's like a testing site.
Yeah, And there was one more who was pretty notable that was non-tendered, and it was Jonathan Scope.
Yeah, Scope. They could have tendered him for $10 million, but he did so awful after the trade to the Brewers. I think it was pretty obvious that they were really, really considering, and now we see that they did. But it's been pretty much of a waste because the Brewers actually gave up a fairly decent piece in that trade. I think they gave up Luis Ortiz, who's like a borderline top 100 guy.
Yeah. So it's pretty clear the Orioles got the better of that deal, but it's like, yeah, it really didn't make much sense for the Brewers because $10 million for them, that's a lot of money, especially if they want to go and try and re-sign Mike Moustakas.
Or maybe add some other pieces to the rotation stuff.
Or trying to get another starter. So, this didn't really surprise me at all. Scope's market probably isn't all that great right now.
He just came. 2017, he did really, really good. If you look at his numbers, I think he had 32 home runs and he did some pretty good defense. But also, he's only 27. I think he's already age 28. His market, I feel, is going to be decent. Some team will give him a shot. Like the A's might give him a 2-year deal. The Marlins could be another team. Indians maybe even if they want to put a little bit of money into second base.
Yeah, especially with Donaldson going to the Braves, I could see the Indians as a fit, but I don't know if the Indians or any other really competitive team would want to rely on him after what happened last season because, don't get me wrong, he could, totally flip the switch.
Yeah.
But, he could also not. So,
some team will give him a low risk deal.
Yeah. He's not going to get a lot of years, probably 2 maximum. I would not be surprised if he got a 1-year contract or 2.
Yeah.
2 maybe. But I don't know if any team would want to lock themselves into a 2-year contract unless they knew they weren't going to be competitive and they were just okay with what he does over there, and if he does really good, then they could trade him away for some prospects or something.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It looks like the Brewers still really like Mike Moustakas.
I don't know if they'll sign Moustakas because I don't think they want to use Travis Shaw at second base like they did when they got Scope. They made some confusing moves at the deadline then.
Yeah, well, they didn't, it basically boils down to they didn't want to spend $10 million on a player who was on the bench during the postseason.
Yeah.
So, that really didn't make a lot of sense to them. And speaking of not making a lot of sense, the Mariners front office, I'm not really sure what's going on up there, but they traded away some notable pieces. Well, the Mets and Mariners, we'll get into that a little bit later, but one of them being Alex Colome.
I think this trade... I don't like this trade for the Mariners. I want to root for the Mariners, but it's hard when they're making trades like this. The Mariners seem to do something a lot, if you've been following their rumors for a while, that they'll trade players that are young or have value for already semi-proven MLB players, and it doesn't make sense when they need a rebuild. Not saying that Omar Narvaez is bad or anything. He's a solid catcher, but I think they could have gotten something from another team or from the White Sox, some prospects that could be used in the future. I think they really wasted this trade.
Yeah, they probably especially could have waited a little bit longer and got something better.
Yeah.
Maybe even to the point of mid-season and get something. Yeah, because
Colome has 2 years, including this year, 2 years of control left through arbitration.
Yeah, and he's only 29, and he's really good.
Yeah, he's a fairly good back end piece. He has experience closing. He was an all-star in 2016. He did decent last year. He did pretty good this year after he went to the Mariners.
Yeah, so
he's consistently for the last 2 years he's given the Mariners and the Rays almost 70 innings of work per season.
Mm-hmm. I think the Mariners, I know they were good during the season, but this team that they were forming it just kind of all started to spiral downhill when they didn't get Ohtani last season. And that was like, they put all their chips into Ohtani and then did like, I don't know, almost nothing else. I mean, no Nelson Cruz, he's going to be gone, but it's just like, I don't...
Yeah, they didn't really make that big
What are
move.
they doing? What are they doing? Like, there's no way this was what Colome was going for. There's absolutely no way. Now, the only thing is, they could have seen something in Navarez that possibly they think, oh, we could turn him into a really good player. Those are really the only things you could see from this scenario.
Yeah.
But even then, you probably could have gotten something better, especially, and you think about it, you maybe could have waited a little bit, see what happens.
Maybe later in the off season,
guys like
early in the regular season, because Colombo was traded like early on in the regular season this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could see what happens to the Red Sox with Kimbrel. You could wait a little bit.
Yeah,
if Kimbrel goes, and
Red Sox might be willing to ante up some of their prospects.
Yeah, exactly. They could have gotten something better for this. For Chicago, I think this is a really good trade for them. They got a really good reliever for not much. We know they're not quite there yet, but they're going to be there very soon.
Yeah.
So that's really good for them. Navarez, we'll see what happens with him in Seattle.
Yeah.
Do you know where he was last year?
Chicago. He was with the White Sox all last year.
Oh yeah.
He was our main catcher for a while because if you remember, Castillo went down with injuries and then he had that suspension.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this deal doesn't make any sense. It's even worse now. I don't know why. I thought Navarez was still in the minors. You don't really hear much about the White Sox in California.
Like 27. He's a 27-year-old catcher. He didn't bat bad last year. I think he batted 275 with a 794 OPS, which isn't bad for a catcher. Mm-hmm. But his defense, he had negative 13 defensive runs saved and only caught 24% of runners trying to steal on him when league average is about 28.
Okay. You know how I feel about defensive runs saved, but 24% is not very good.
When league average is 28%.
Yeah, that... I mean, part of that could be he has a lot of pitchers with, a long motion, but, I mean, that's 4% from league average. So, I mean, his bat was okay, like 275, 366 OBP. No. That's, I mean, it doesn't really make...
No.
But, like, why? You could have gotten prospects.
You could have gotten prospects that would be much more valuable than Narvaez.
Exactly. And, yeah, this trade doesn't make any sense. And another trade that also doesn't make any sense is Robinson Cano and Edwin Diaz.
I don't like this trade either, obviously. It's so confusing. It's so confusing.
I think this one is worse.
It is worse
because this one's worse.
You are throwing in Edwin Diaz, who had the best season by a closer in a while, actually, if you look at it. He had like an ERA of like 1.72. I forget what it is exactly. I think it was either right around 2 or right below 2. But anyways, he had an amazing season. I would say he was the second best closer this year behind Trinan. He had that season. And he's only 25 and has like 3 or 4 years. He hasn't even hit arbitration yet. And you're going to package him just so you can get rid of Robinson Cano, just so you can get rid of Robinson Cano's contract. It's so confusing, and it doesn't make any sense for the Mariners to package him with Cano.
Yeah, especially considering... Think about how much you could have gotten... Okay, right now it looks like... I'm going to go back to Craig Kimbrel, because Red Sox want to win now, and so do the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
If Craig Kimbrel goes to the Braves, you could trade Diaz
for like Michael Chavis
himself to the Red Sox
for like Michael Chavis and like Jason Groom and a few other their minor leaguers that are pretty decent.
Or let's say Kimbrel re-signs with the Red Sox or goes somewhere else.
And
that's not
there
or Atlanta. Atlanta has so many good pitching prospects. They could load up on those. And we all know the pitching rotation for the Mariners is bad. Mike Leake is listed as their one on their depth chart right now. That's how bad this pitching staff is.
You know, like you said, the Braves have so many prospects they could deal. They have, and even now that they have so many third base options, they could trade Austin Riley to the Mariners too. They might even be willing to deal him now that they have Camargo and they just signed Donaldson. And then you have Colby Allard. You have who's some of their other ones? Soroka. Mm-hmm. And Tuasain and Luis Gohara, just to name some of their bigger names in the minors.
And you never know. Houston might have been willing to move Tucker for Diaz.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know if this deal is done yet. Seattle, if anyone in your front office is watching this trade makes no sense.
Make it stop.
The only thing I could see the reason this is the ownership wants to get rid of the Cano contract
desperately, extremely desperately.
As far as I know, Mariners ownership hasn't changed within the last 7 years.
Yeah,
and Robinson Cano was there when you're like, we want this, we want Robinson Cano to be our bid star. Oh my gosh, like this is we should add like a new segment to the show, and we should call it like This Week in Bad Contracts. And then Robinson Cano is certainly up there. He's up there, like, okay, he's not like Chris Davis level.
He's not Chris Davis or Albert Pujols level. But
yeah, Chris Davis and Albert Pujols are like maximum tier in bad
I even
contracts.
put Chris Davis above Albert Pujols in the worst.
Yeah, I would too. But like, I mean, Cano still has a little bit of production in him.
Yeah, he didn't do bad, but, I mean, you know what really hurt his value this year? That 80-game suspension with the banned substance.
Yeah. And we all know, that the Mariners are not going to be good for the next few years.
Yeah.
Which means they aren't going to be spending a lot on free agents, if, like, barely anything.
Yeah, and they're going to severely cut down on Edwin's value by throwing in Cano, and then they're not getting back anything that someone is going to look at that prospect and say, that guy's going to be good in the future. They're not getting any prospects like that.
Exactly. They're
getting Jay Bruce and Anthony Swarzak back. And a few minor leaguers. I think some of them are top, like, borderline to, like, low tier top 100 guys, but still.
Yeah. Like, Diaz by himself could get you so much. Like,
yeah.
I mean, this could be the only way they think of getting rid of Cano's contract, which might be for now.
For now, but, you know, he's under control till when? 2024 or 2024, 2023?
Yeah.
And so, right now, you look at it, I bet some team at the deadline is going to get so desperate for infield help that they'd be willing to actually deal something for Robinson Cano and need a large portion of the contract.
Yep.
Some team's gonna pull
that would happen like 2 years from now ish. 2 years from now.
Some team will get desperate.
Minimum.
Some team would get desperate for middle infield help and trade for Cano.
Yeah. I could only see this being a thing for the owners. If the front office is thinking this is a good trade for them, it doesn't make sense.
No.
Diaz is so good,
and you're gonna trade him right now with Robinson Cano.
You don't package these players together, especially when the Mariners can eat the salary. It's not like they have to get rid of this Cano contract so they can sign a big free agent next year or something. No, stop. Don't trade Cano yet. Hold on to Cano and trade Diaz when Kimbrel signs.
Yeah.
After Kimbrel signs, it's a win for everybody. And even if you don't wait till Kimbrel signs, you could find somewhere.
Yeah.
You certainly, that would give you
if they traded
really
if they kept Diaz and Colome instead of trading them, they could have gotten so much back to a team that needs late inning help.
Exactly. The Braves. Think about all the pitching prospects they could get from the Braves.
Yeah.
Like, it would depend how many they get, would depend on what level they asked for, but they could get some really top tier guys because the Braves don't really need it right now.
No. They're ready. They should be ready to spend, so they should be going out and getting guys that are already proven.
Yeah, they're ready to trade if they need to trade away some of their guys, they will do it. If they want to trade for Madison Bumgarner, they could do it. Which we'll talk about Bumgarner a little bit later. But okay, so just I think I know what your answer might be to this question, but do you think if this deal is as it is proposed now, the announcement hasn't been official yet, but do you think that this deal is a good deal for the New York Mets?
For the Mets, it might be, even with Cano's contract. But also, I'm going to go back on my words a little bit here. I think it'll actually be an okay deal on the Mets side because they're also getting rid of Swarzak and Bruce, so which is going to help balance out some of the salary.
Mm-hmm. I think it kind of depends on how much Seattle takes from the contract, because they have to eat something. Especially because
even with Bruce and Swarzak,
the Mets are going to be looking to re-sign DeGrom or extend DeGrom, and then maybe re-sign Syndergaard.
Yeah,
if they still keep Syndergaard, which
we'll see.
Who knows what the direction?
We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, they're trying to compete, but
they're also listening on offers on Syndergaard.
Yeah, like I don't know if they think their pitching's good enough. If they get rid of Syndergaard, it's not.
Yeah,
it's really not. But I mean, it's the Mets, so some pitcher might get injured anyway, just because that's how it seems to go with the Mets for some reason. I don't know why all their pitchers get injured all the time. It's just basically become a meme at this point because it's so true. But we are going to be taking a quick break. When we come back, we will be talking about Yan Gomes to the Nationals, and we'll be talking about a possible Madison Bumgarner trade.
Also heading out the door is outfielder Gorkys Hernandez. Strickland has some experience with doors.
You should make that joke. That's funny. That's actually funny.
12.
But dude, why do you have to get rid of Gorkys? I love Gorkys.
Do you know he actually started as a Red Sox, and then he was traded to the Pirates for Adam LaRoche.
Dude. We got rid of Gorkys because we're signing Harper. Boom! I figured it out. I'm gonna tweet out right now. They got rid of
Strickland.
Signing Harper.
Strickland. They got rid of Strickland to entice Harper.
Think about it. Tell me that isn't sus, bro. So, as some of you saw during the break, Noah and I just found out that Strickland and Gorkys Hernandez were both non-tendered, which is a little interesting. But we'll talk about that when we talk about the Giants. After we talk about Yan Gomes, who it was announced that the deal is official, like just now, and Nationals get an all-star catcher, which is something that they needed. We know the Marlins didn't really want to trade JT in the division, and
the Nationals didn't really want to trade Robles yet.
Yeah, and they were the Marlins are like, oh, give us your best prospects, and
Robles and Soto.
And then we want our soda machine refilled and whatever, right? But yeah, so I think this is a really good move from the Nationals.
Yeah, it's a solid move for the Nationals because they did sign Kurt Suzuki, but I think that's a solid. Now they have a timeshare behind there, so like I think that's good for the team overall.
Yeah, I feel like the Nationals are going to be sort of like a sneaky team this season. Yeah, because a lot of people forgot about them after they weren't competing last year. So
yeah, and then people were kind of questioning how they do next year, even if they lost Harper and stuff.
Yeah, so it makes a lot of sense for them to go after Gomes. Now they have catchers, a really good, secure position for them now, and this Nationals team, like even with the loss of Harper, I like them better than everyone in the NL East besides the Braves.
Yeah, I think they're still a solid team. A lot of people I think are gonna kind of sleep on them with after losing Harper and stuff, but that's still a good overall team because they still have Scherzer. Strasburg comes back healthy. Robles performs like they expect him. And then you can't forget about Soto and Eaton and Ryan Zimmerman and all those. And their only weak spot is technically second base, but they do have Howie Kendrick. I think they're going to mainly use there with Wilmer Difo.
And even then, they could sign someone like a Dozier in free agency.
Yeah. Or Jonathan Scope.
Yeah, they have money to do that. And I even if the Mets deal goes through with the whole Cano and Diaz thing, which it's expected to, yeah, I like the Nationals better. It doesn't matter really to me if they keep Syndergaard or if the trade goes through or not, but yeah, the Nationals are Soto. I think is gonna have one of the best years of his career.
Yeah, and then Rendon, who's fairly underrated.
Yeah, Rendon's really good.
And he's not talked about a lot either.
Yeah, I remember I tweeted it out, which some of you guys might not understand if you don't look into stats at all. But I said I might take Anthony Rendon over Javier Baez for MVP, and then a lot of people got upset, which I knew that would upset some people. But I mean, the fact that I was even considering that, it just goes to show how good Anthony Rendon actually is. He just doesn't get talked about enough because on that team, especially with Harper on the team, it was all about Harper, and then you have Soto come up, so everyone was really talking about what's Harper going to do this offseason, and then talking about Juan Soto. So Anthony Rendon gets looked over a lot, and this
he's a really good player.
Watch out for this Nationals team. They could honestly still take the NL East. We don't know what's going to happen with the Braves. They could deal with injury issues, or even if they don't, some
sophomore slumps with rookie players.
Yeah, I really like the Braves.
Yeah, I still like the Braves too for that division, but I mean, there's still a chance.
I just like the Braves team in general with Donaldson and McCann, Acuna, Ozzy. It's a really fun team to watch. Freddie Freeman,
because you have so many young players, and then you have the veterans with McCann and Donaldson.
Especially if they get Kimbrel back, that team is going to be really fun to watch. And
for a long time.
Yeah, so good for the Indians. I'm not really sure what they're going to do at catcher now, but maybe JT Realmuto. They've been in contact.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't like it. But the Pirates said that they were listening on talks with trades involving Sir Francisco Cervelli. I don't want him to be traded, but
Yeah, I mean, you might have to. It's just
maybe. I don't really want to trade him yet because I mean, I don't want to consider the Pirates completely out of it, but. Before the season even starts, but possibility.
Yeah. And it was just reported from John Heyman that Tim Beckham and Caleb Joseph are also non-tendered. So yeah. I saw the alert. Now I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like a Harper signs or whatever, just in case that happened right in the middle of the show. But yeah, and so. Yeah, good for the Nationals. And let's go ahead and move on to the Giants, who I'm not sure what the direction of this team is exactly. I'm not sure what Farhan is doing with. Okay, Strickland I could understand. Gorky's not really.
Was Gorky's really that great of a player to keep around?
Good. Gorky's
was he worth though keeping around though?
I mean, why not? It's Gorky's. Why not? Gorky's is awesome.
Yeah, but Gorky sucked when he was a Pirate.
Well, he's good when he was with the Giants. So
was he really that good as a Giant though?
He was pretty good.
Really?
Yes, he was.
Look up this. I don't think he was that great when he was. Overall, he did okay. I know he didn't do bad, but was he really worth keeping around?
Yeah, he wouldn't be that expensive. Strickland.
I'm looking at
Strickland. I could see the whole door thing. That might that might be a little
only
upsetting.
a 0.5. Only a 0.5 WAR.
Whatever, but hey, Strickland's gone. outfield positions are open. Bryce Harper? Just saying, man. That would be very interesting. But something that has been talked about a lot is Madison Bumgarner being traded, and there was a report that came out yesterday saying that Madison Bumgarner is probably going to stay. The Giants are obviously going to still keep listening to see if they get anything crazy, but it looks like he's going to stay.
For now.
I don't really get necessarily, unless there's been some talks of him extending and they were like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But, like, with Bumgarner's recent numbers, I don't think you'd really get much for him during the offseason.
He's still a really good pitcher if you look at him. I mean, 3.26 ERA, that's not bad.
Yeah.
You know, he's still a good pitcher.
But I think you could get more for him, especially, you know, closer to...
If you wait till the deadline?
Like,
you really think even...
Think
at
about
that point, I think he'd be a rental, right?
I know, but think about this. Okay, because, I mean, I don't know why I think this way, but I think that executives would, and front offices would think this way, especially owners would. Everyone remembers what Madison Bumgarner did in 2014. Everyone remembers what that was.
The World Series
and
run. He
what
was
he's
flat out
what
amazing.
he's done in the postseason in general. I mean, 2016 was but we don't talk about that, okay? 2014 happened, all right? But I think when you get closer to the deadline, teams start to feel that pressure, especially if they're close.
To make a move. To
make a move.
Like when the few years ago with the Cubs when they got Chapman.
Yeah.
They got desperate and traded a bunch of, like, you know, pretty highly rated prospects for Chapman.
Yeah, exactly. Just like that. That was a great example. Good job. But, like, something like that, especially because, you know, they'll be like, oh, we're getting close. You know, we need a postseason pitcher we can rely on. Madison Bumgarner is that guy. You could look at his regular season numbers. Whatever his regular season numbers are, they don't really correlate to his postseason numbers like that season. I mean, 2012, he was okay. 2010, he was good, and 2014, he was like he turned up the heat like all the way
when it mattered.
Oh my gosh,
I remember that. He did so great that postseason.
Oh, yeah,
even though he pitched a complete game against the Pirates in the wild card.
I was about to say when
he
still
did so good.
Yeah, when he shot the Pirates, that was good. But do you think that the Giants keeping him, at least for now? Let's we don't know if he's going to be extended or not, but for now, do you think this is a good move, or do you think we have to
keeping him for now? I think keeping him for now is not, you know, I don't really think that it's a bad idea because Giants are technically out. The Giants could technically still add and become like a wild card contender. So keeping him around right now, but if you start getting into like June, July, and it's pretty obvious you're not going to make to the playoffs, I think it's time to deal him.
Well, I think he might be like a sort of Buster Posey situation where they want to be like, oh, Giant for life, you know, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, I think, like, they're doing a sort of Yankees-type rebuild kind of thing, you know? Like, we're not going to, you know, dump everything, because then, if they really did that, everyone would be gone besides, like, Posey. Because, you know, you have to keep somebody, right? Because to keep ownership kind of happy. But especially because they haven't made any moves yet, I think they're just going to kind of chill back and then see what they can get and just kind of be around 500-ish. Which, is that the right move? I don't know. I mean, at least
it would keep the fan base
happy.
happy.
I don't have to watch a 100-loss team every year for 3 years, so that's good. But I don't know if this is the right move. I mean, it would suck as a fan if Bumgarner got traded, kind of.
Yeah.
It'd depend on the return package, and I was listening to LB Network Radio earlier, and they were doing listener calls, and someone called in and asked about Houston possibly trading for Bumgarner, which I thought was a very interesting idea because one of the players he brought up was Kyle Tucker.
That'd be a really, really good return for Bumgarner.
I mean, I don't know. Okay, I like Kyle. I saw him play for a year. He was great. But the at-bats he got in the majors were I mean, you know...
You don't think he could adjust and change and, you know,
I mean,
adjust to Major League pitching and stuff?
Okay, I think he can. Like the listener brought up, he was like, you know, Mike Trout wasn't all that great in his first 100 at-bats. It took him time to adjust, but Tucker was up there for a while. I don't know if...
Was he really up there for that many at-bats?
I mean, I don't think he was, but, I mean, he was at least up in the majors for a while. I don't know how much playing time
he only got 72 plate appearances in 24 games.
Yeah, I was thinking around there, but his numbers weren't great at all. I know the Astros are the type of team to stay on prospects, but this year's their season to try and go for it once again.
Yeah.
You think of a postseason front end of
Verlander, a postseason top of the rotation starter,
Bumgarner, and Cole. Holy crap!
Yeah,
that is terrifying.
Verlander's been so great in the playoffs.
Just Verlander and Bumgarner as a 1-2 in the postseason.
Yeah,
that is broken. You have won the first 2 games.
Well, if they make, I don't think it would happen. But then what happens if they go to a wild card? Who do you start for that one game? Who would you start for that one game?
Is there a way to pitch 2 pitchers at the same time? I don't know. Probably Verlander because he's been there longer.
You let Bumgarner DH and then you swap him out every now and then. You swap him out from pitcher to DH.
Oh, that'd be funny. That'd be a good one. But yeah, for Bumgarner to the Astros makes a lot of sense. I was saying back in 2017, the Astros should trade for Madison Bumgarner. Like
the Braves, I think, should also maybe even look
Braves
into
should look at it. Giants could get some young pitching prospects back, which I'd be all good for. Because right now, really, the best pitcher on the Giants is Derek Rodriguez.
You'd even put him over Bumgarner?
Yeah. For what? Just like
right now?
regular season, like whatever, like regular season.
I think I would take Bumgarner over Derek Rodriguez. I know
in general, yeah, I'd probably take Bumgarner, but regular season, Derek.
I think right now, yeah, Rodriguez would probably be better, but you know that's after Bumgarner's had some seasons with injury and the dirt bike accident.
We don't talk about that, okay? that never happened. Shh. That never happened. But okay, so I would say by the end of this season, the 2019 season, do you think we will see Madison Bumgarner in a different uniform?
Potentially.
I
think.
What's the percentage on that potentially?
I think it's more of a chance of happening than not happening.
Yeah, I'd say that too. I just don't know if ownership would do it because they probably just want to keep Posey, Crawford, and Bumgarner. Really, just like those 3. I mean, you could get rid of Belt and Panic, and you know, but like those 3 are like the biggest stars in the franchise, and I know they want to sell tickets and stuff, but I want to see a good team when I buy tickets. Like I want to see a good team. I mean I understand
it might be time for them to hit the rebuild button.
It's tough. It's really tough to let go of stars, especially after you've won 3 World Series with them, right? But
yeah,
I think it might be necessary. It depends.
Time for it depends
if we get any free agents this offseason. I mean, with 2 outfield spots open. Wait. 2? It might be 3. Screw it. There's everything's open on the job. We're like the Orioles now, basically. Everything's open besides like catcher. That's pretty much it.
Catcher, first base, and shortstop.
Yeah. Belt. Dude, Belt should get traded to the Rockies. Just saying.
He do so good.
Him in Colorado? Are you kidding me? With that right field,
he do so great.
Can you imagine? Oh my gosh! But yeah. Giants trade Belt to the Rockies. Just saying. But yeah, it's just the time has come. I mean, I thought we could go this year and take a whack at it. We did, but the team wasn't good enough because we didn't get pitching. So,
think it's time to start contemplating the rebuild.
Not full. I don't think we need to go full Astros, but we shouldn't be over 500. Probably. Ish. I mean, I don't know. You don't want to cheer for your team to do bad, but you kind of do, knowing you could be good in future years. But
with good
we all know Joey Bart's gonna come up and win like 7 MVPs. I mean, I like Joey Bart a lot. He's going to be good. We're going to eventually move Posey to first. Crawford, who knows what happens with him. Bumgarner, he might stay. I don't know. As far as... he seems happy in San Francisco, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Bumgarner's really never, like, smiles. Like, ever. That's just kind of how he is. Like, unless he's, like, on his farm, he doesn't smile, but... yeah, I don't think there has been any more news, and I think it's time to call this episode. So, if you enjoyed, be sure to drop a like, and if you're new, subscribe to the Dugout. Thank you, everyone, for 1,000 subscribers. That was really fast. Thank you.
Yeah, we started when did we post our first video?
3 weeks ago. 3 weeks. It's
about 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a little under month-ish, or it's been about a month-ish, but
no, we started in November. It hasn't even been a whole month. It's been a few weeks.
Oh yeah, we did. We started November 10th. It's been 20 days. Oh my god.
It's been a week or two, and we're already reaching 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, but thank you, everyone. We have more content coming soon. I know some of you guys have asked about SNS. We're trying to get the set together and line up some guests for shows, because I just don't want it to be me the entire time. But we'll work on getting some guests on for shows. And yeah, also, quick announcement for those of you who haven't seen it on my social medias. I will be at the winter meetings covering for the Dugout. I got my media credentials were good. So I will be there reporting if anything happens. So... yeah, be on the lookout for that. I'll probably produce some videos during the winter meetings, and yeah, thank you everyone for watching this edition of Barrel Up, and we will see you in the next episode.
Listen, I said I was born ready. I said I